Hello everyone, I am Renowned Zero, and today we're going to be talking about Capcom declaring that, quote, simply translating games developed under Japanese norms can end up hurting users. Now, they must be specifically talking about Western users because they're the most offended people. And they get offended by literally everything, including places like Kotaku and Polygon. I believe they were offended that they brought back the Street Fighter 2 costumes for all the characters, and they got mostly offended by Cammy's costume. And that was enough goodwill for me to go out and buy Street Fighter 6. I mean, I might still buy Street Fighter 6, but because doesn't seem to be anything really too crazy going on with that. But that got me enough to buy it, even though I wasn't interested in it. I'm really not interested in fighting games too much, unless it's Smash. But that really got me out to going and buying Street Fighter 6. But then you come out with this, and you just get rid of all credibility. You got rid of all your goodwill, we'll say. As more and more in Japanese game developers kowtow to the ever-growing censorious demands of Western markets, Capcom have revealed that their in-house localization efforts work off of the belief that games developed under Japanese norms can end up hurting users. If you're a Japanese company, you should continue to develop games under the Japanese norms and stop worrying about hurting the fifis of people who do not buy games, who do not buy anything. This is kind of what happened with Mortal Kombat, where they were censoring all the titties and all the ass on the female characters and keeping all the men shirtless, and now doing the opposite with Mortal Kombat 1. Like Koei Tecmo earlier this week, the Mega Man developer's editorial intent was recently brought to public attention by Twitter user @Montblut1984, who discovered the information on the social sustainability section of the company's official investor relations page. First published sometime around January 2022, per the Internet Archive, the page in question details Capcom's commitment towards, quote, serving as a responsible and trusted member of society, specifically in regards to the relationship with customers. Therein, Capcom provided insight with how this relationship factored into their game development, with the company behind the Street Fighter franchise noting that their attentions were focused on two elements: in-game purchases and localization and culturalization. And now they've had a very good track record recently with the Resident Evil 2 remake, the Resident Evil 4 remake, all the different collections, all the Mega Man collections, like the Legacy Collection 1 and 2, the X Collections 1 and 2, and recently the Battle Network Collection. And with Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter World and DMC 5, like Devil May Cry 5. And they kept it going, seeming consistently with great products, even into Street Fighter 6, it would appear. So I don't understand why you would at all care about what Western weirdos will say about your games. At all. While the rather standard efforts towards the former are best summed up by the declaration that, quote, in principle we minimize gotcha elements in the mobile games we develop. In our home video games we provide any content required to enjoy the full game free of charge, while offering some additional content at low cost. It is in their plan for the latter that Capcom showed their hand. Also another reason I hate fighting games nowadays, because all the paid DLC characters. Especially when they do paid DLC characters for characters that have been in the game well before in the previous entries. Capcom games are enjoyed worldwide, they explained. In the fiscal year ended March 2022, the percentage of home video games sold overseas was 83.1%. Naturally, translation, localization of video games developed in Japanese is required so that game players around the world can enjoy them. The volume and importance of localization is increasing year after year due to factors such as improvements in game machine performance, support for online gameplay, and an increase in the number of languages, accompanying a more diversified global audience. Capcom continued. As such, Capcom's localization team is involved in game development from the initial stages, when they really shouldn't be. By carrying out localization concurrently with development, rather than following completion of the Japanese language version as had been done in the past, Capcom was able to launch games simultaneously around the globe, write the Resident Evil developer. Concluding their statement with a disappointing bombshell, Capcom happily informed potential business partners, quote, what is more depending on the country, simply translating games developed under Japanese norms can end up hurting users. Unexpectedly, due to historical, religious, or cultural differences. They really shouldn't give a fuck. They should just make the games they want to make. Fuck what the opinions are of weirdos on the internet, because it's mostly weirdos. It's not really fans of these franchises. It's weirdos who are trying to appropriate and change what makes these franchises and what makes these franchises popular. As such, we have focused on employing staff from around the world to culturalize the games so that they can be enjoyed by all, regardless of locale. Y'all should just stick to hiring Japanese developers. Stop hiring Western developers. Stop it. Sadly, Capcom's willingness to censor, edit, and alter works in ways that deviate from the author's original intent comes as no surprise given their recent streak of puritanical decisions. From changing Ashley and Ada's default outfits in Resident Evil 4 Remake to removing the ability for players to access the game's playfully risque secret ending in the 2022 Capcom Fighting Collection release of Vampire Savior 2 to covering up R. Mika's butt slap in Street Fighter 5. Glad I didn't buy that crap. I couldn't anyway. In response to viral outrage, the developer has already made it more than clear that they're willing to sacrifice their integrity in the pursuit of a few extra dollars. In his opinion, however, credit where credit is due, where they did release the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection with no alterations, instead opting to put in a traditional disclaimer noting that the games it contains were products of the time, as well as release Cammy's original costume as DLC in Street Fighter 6. So there you go. And this is what I'm talking about. They need to stop trying to pander to a bunch of Western weirdos who do not play games. They claim to be fans of these things and they're not. They need to just make Street Fighter what it is. Awesome looking characters, male characters, sexy looking women characters who are kick ass as fuck. Everyone loves Ryu, everyone loves Chun-Li. Y'all should just stick to the roots of what made Street Fighter great and stop trying to pander to a bunch of weirdos who do not buy your product. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, if new viewers, returning viewers. If you do like this video, hit that like button. Comment below what you feel about all this. Subscribe for more content. Click on the bell for notifications. Set the bell to all. That way you get notifications anytime I post a new video. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace.